Hello, boys and girls. I'm so glad you're back with us here at Kingdom Kids at Enslow Park Presbyterian Church. My friend Betty Chapman is going to read the exciting story for you today. If you go here to Enslow Park to preschool, you may even know Betty's daughter, Emily, because she attends preschool here with you. We have a really exciting book for you today. It's called One Boy, One Stone, One God. And it's written by Michelle Adams. And I think when she gets started, you may know some of the characters in this story. So come on, let's get started and listen to a good story.
One boy, one stone, one God. Young David watched his father's sheep. He cared for every lamb. He worshipped God and played his harp. He loved the great I Am. "Dear son, come here," said David's dad. "I have a job for you." "Okay," said David to his dad. "Just tell me what to do." "Please take this roasted grain and cheese and these 10 loaves of bread. Your brothers and the other men are needing to be fed. They're warring with the Philistines. You'll find them over there. Please find out how they're doing, son, and let them know we care." When finally he reached the camp, both armies stood their ground. He heard the war cry loud and clear. It was a scary sound. "Hey, brothers," David called ahead. "Our father sent me here. He's worried over each of you. His heart is full of fear." Just then a booming voice rang out. It sounded loud and gruff. The voice came from a 9-foot man. He acted really tough. Goliath was this giant's name. He mocked every Israelite. He challenged every one of them to come out and fight. Young David watched the Philistine. He listened to his words. "Whoever tries to conquer me, I'll feed him to the birds." His words made David really mad. He longed to fight the man. "I'll beat that giant," David thought. "With God, I know I can." When Saul got news of David's words, he said, "You're just a lad. This man's been fighting all his life. He's big and mean and bad." "But I can do it," David said. "The Lord will help me win. He's helped me kill wild animals. He'll help me once again." "Okay," said Saul. "We'll go ahead. I trust the things you've said. Here, take my coat of armor, boy, and helmet for your head." "I cannot wear these," David said. "They do not fit at all." He took the coat of armor off and gave it back to Saul. So David went down to the stream. He dug down in the sand, and one by one he found 5 stones. He clenched them in his hand. Then David stood and grabbed his sling and headed for the fight. The giant mocked and laughed at him and cursed him left and right. "You come at me with sword and spear," said David to the man, "but I come in the name of God." That all at once he ran. He charged right at that Philistine. The giant charged right back. Then David flung a little stone and started his attack. The stone moved swiftly through the air and struck the giant's head. That's when it happened. Boom, kersplat. The giant fell down dead. The Philistines were very scared. They all began to run. With sling and stone and God's great hand, the battle had been won. Though David wasn't very old, God knew what he could do. God used him in a mighty way, and God will use you too.
Boys and girls, wasn't that a wonderful story that we just heard? Let's think about it for a minute. David was this little tiny boy, and Goliath was this great big giant. So think what a challenge it was for David to overcome such a giant. And let's think about that in our lives today. You know, we're overcoming a lot of challenges within our lives, but with God's help, just like David overcame Goliath, we can overcome the challenges that we have every day. Boys and girls, it's time now for our popcorn prayer. So be thinking what you'd like to pray about. Remember, at the end, after we finish our prayer, we'll go into the Lord's Prayer all together. And it'll be on the screen if you need some help. So let's all close our eyes and fold our hands, and I'll start. Dear Lord, I'd like to pray for all of our healthcare workers who are taking such good care of everyone who is sick right now. Michelly, would you like to go next?
I pray for all graduated this year, for family and friends.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed our story this week, had a good time listening with us, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great week, and bye-bye.